Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Commonsense Africa Podcast. I'm your host, Ugochukwu Nwaokoro. Like I said during the trailer, we're going to be handling issues pertaining to Africa solutions. We're not going to be doing any finger pointing or accusing people that obviously we know that are, the reasons why Africa is going what it's going through. So, Common Sense Africa podcast is solution based. We're going to focus on solutions to Africa's problem. So, before we start, bringing the episodes that will have our guests, let me just outline those issues that we're going to be handling. The number one on the list is agriculture in Africa. You know, so Africa must feed African citizens, the people of Africa, and all that. Any population that cannot feed her population is not ready for prime time. So Africa must invest in agriculture and be able to feed people of Africa. So the other issue is empowering women. We're going to be heavy on empowering women and the girl child. So there are going to be episodes that will handle all that. Then the other issue that we're going to handle is to build a better relationship with our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. Folks, regardless of where they are in the world. You know, so we have to build a better relationship with them. Then the other thing that we're going to talk about is about African countries must be better connected. We must connect. We must begin to, serve as each other's support system. So Africa is not better connected at the moment. So we're going to talk about stuff like that as well. How to connect Africa, how to get Africa to function as one unit and under one, possibly one monetary policy, operating under one single African currency. And then the other thing we're going to do is to, take advantage of the brain drain of Africa and make it a brain gain for Africa. So we're going to try to repatriate all our brothers and sisters in the diaspora to come back to Africa with their knowledge and with everything that they have, so that all of us together will build Africa. But the one thing that I'm going to talk about today is the structure of Africa. I'm going to kind of like shed more light on that. So I'm going to talk about the restructuring of Africa. Everybody's well aware that Africa was during the colonial, era. Nations, very strong nations of Africa, were divided into countries that we presently have now. So some great, nations we are bundled together with nations that they didn't have anything to do with before, other than they were all African nations. And some nations were equally split, divided, into other countries. And the worst part of it, into different cultures, colonial culture, like those that found themselves in the British culture, were of course speaking English or being taught English. Those that found themselves in the French, under French colony, were practicing the French culture and the French language and all whatnot. So we're going to talk about the problem, how the restructuring of Africa. Africa must be restructured, you know. So as long as these countries, present countries now, continue to find themselves or see themselves as ethnic groups, there's going to be a problem. They will continue to fail. So not one country in Africa after the colonialists left has succeeded operating under the complex, system of various nations, various ethnic groups operating under one country. So remember, when these countries were put in their present, countries, they were not consulted. They were not part of the negotiation. So we're going to have to renegotiate our existence in these countries, that we found ourselves in. Splitting further is not the issue. But hey, when you start, restructuring or negotiating your existence in your present country, if it's necessary to, you know, split further or form another country, out of your present country or secede or whatever it is, so be it. But it has to be negotiated. So we, Africans must come together to renegotiate Africa because it's not working, and saying, oh, okay, under present country or the countries of Africa, we're going to have rotational presidency, for instance. That will not work. That has never worked. All it's done is, you know, ethnic groups taking, turns to screw things further up for Africa. And it creates, it breeds mediocrity. So certain ethnic groups will provide, folks that are not necessarily up to the job of a president, but because there's a rotational presidency arrangement, those folks emerge. So we have to talk about that. We have to renegotiate. So countries in Africa must renegotiate their existence, must say, okay, now we found ourselves under this arrangement, under these present countries. Let's talk about how to move forward. Let's talk about how to build new nations, just one nation under each country that we find ourselves. Rwanda has started very well. Rwanda presently, they don't see themselves as ethnic groups. Every Rwandan citizen is a Rwandese, not by your ethnic group, not by your tribe or whatever. Everybody is a Rwandese. So I think it's a good thing that other countries should emulate, and that's why Rwanda is making so remarkable progress. So other countries, believe me, as long as we keep seeing ourselves as different ethnic groups, different, for instance, it's going to be a big problem for us. For instance, Nigeria that has over 460 ethnic groups, 460, ethnic groups. How do you rotate presidency? How do you, certain ethnic groups are too small. They will never, produce the presidency. What do you say about that? You will continue to cheat them, So the best thing is to eliminate, that idea of ethnic group, and everybody in the case of Nigeria will be one Nigeria, and you work towards that. You restructure the country towards that, so that everybody will work for the best interest of the country, and the leaders will emerge based on merit. So like in the case of Rwanda, they even involved women. Like presently, Rwanda is actually the country with the highest participation level of women, in politics. I believe it's 63%. So other countries need to emulate that and begin to practice that as well. Okay. So restructuring, by the way, is not what like the white South Africans are yearning for. The white South Africans are yearning for a white-only country out of South Africa. I think that is wrong. That is segregation by impunity, as if they haven't done enough damage already in Africa. So that is not what we need. That is not what South Africa needs. So if they, now that they've found themselves in South Africa, they should work together as South Africans to build South Africa, not to ask for one their own white only country. But if they insist in having a white only country, they theirs is easy. Their problem is easy to solve, because over the years they've been in South Africa, they've done a good job preserving the white race, preserving themselves. They've segregated. They have not integrated with South Africa, so they've preserved their whiteness. So if they must go back to a white only country, this is simple. Since they are well preserved, they can easily trace back where they came from. So they can actually go back to Europe and then be part of the white only country. But asking for a white only country in South Africa is impunity, racism with impunity, after South Africa has sacrificed so much. Even after apartheid, South Africa allowed them, some of them, to continue owning properties that were taken by force from Africans. So, like I said, my suggestion to them is if they must have a white-only country, they should trace back their origin. It's easy to find. They haven't integrated well with South Africa, so they can easily trace their origin back to where they came from in Europe. So that problem is very easy to solve, and we can handle that if they want to go back, if they want a white-only country. But hey, nobody's chasing them out of Africa. South Africans are not chasing them, but they must operate under the platform, under the confines of present-day South Africa, not to ask for a white-only country in Africa. South Africa should even entertain that via referendum or whatever it is. No, can't come. These are immigrants that sometime came to Africa. They can't come to Africa and then demand their own country. No, they should have equal rights like every other citizen of South Africa, and then and then operate under that framework, under the framework of South Africa. So, folks, there's a lot for us to do, and I think again I'm gonna kudos to Rwanda for how they've restructured, and the progress that they're making. So I think every country in Africa should emulate what Rwanda is doing. You know, Rwanda, you go there, you look at the progress within a short period of time. So we can all emulate what Rwanda is doing, and all of us together will then rebuild South Africa. Thank you very much. God bless you as you listen. And also, please do share our link to your friends, colleagues, Commonsense Africa Podcast.com. We are on Spotify, of course. We are on all the Apple, Google, Pandora, name it. So just, and of course, we have Facebook. Follow us on Facebook as well. That's Common Sense One Word Africa Podcast. Thank you very much, and God bless.